So I'm down here poking around in the pit today, having a good look at the projects here. I don't have any more done since my last video. I apologize about that. We've just been busy, like most of you guys. Projects don't come first. I know I say that 1,000 times, but anyway. So I'm down here looking at the differences between the Ram and the Imperial. I had a tape measure out the other day. I'll just fill you in on what I'm seeing. The overall width of the Firewall and the Imperial, you can see it gets a little narrower to the top there in that recess, is about 41 inches. 41 inches on the truck is going to be just enough to take in everything from my brake booster on that side all the way to my heater lines. As you can see there, you can see the main computer over there is going to have to be moved. However, the plan for that is that you can see on the Firewall on the Imperial, I'm going to have a pocket down here where the front fender meets. So I'm thinking maybe mounting the computer here, or maybe the inside of the fender. But this is PEI, and I will be stupid enough to drive this in the winter, so I might actually instead just mount it in here. Now the problem with that is the Imperial had two heater motors, two heater plenums and everything. They came out down here. So I kind of like to use them. Another thing I see is on the Imperial. I don't know if I can get a good enough shot of it, but where the Firewall is in relation to the front wheel. Now that front wheel that's the front end from the 32. We just put that there to move it around. But that is basically where the axle center line is going to be when it gets put on the Ram frame. There's a mark I had gouged in here where my finger is. It's on both sides. You can just barely see it right there. That was the original axle center line of the car. So even this front end is back about 5 inches. So the Firewall in relation to the front axle center line on the Imperial, it's back just about a foot. On the Ram, the Firewall is considerably closer to the axle center line. As a matter of fact, it's right about here. As you can see, fairly close to the tire. And another major difference between the two of them is look at how deep that dashboard is on the Ram as the windshield is laid back so far. The Imperial, you can see, is not laid back near as far, and the dashboard, although it's not in it, only comes out maybe an inch or two from the cowl. However, there's a bulkhead in front of the windshield where all the air ventilation and stuff would come in from the cowl to hide some electronics and stuff underneath. There's quite a pocket up in there. And the steering wheel for both vehicles is going to be pretty near in the same place the steering wheel for the Imperial is going to be pretty near in the same place as it is in the Ram. So I'll have lots of room to tuck electronics and stuff underneath. Again, I'm not sure about heater plenums because I want to try and use the Imperial's plenums. As you can see from the heater vents on there, up by the windshield, this car did have heat in the windshield. Was not common back then. I'll probably weld that cowl vent shut too, even though I really like it, because I'm not sure how it's going to interfere with stuff. I still have to get some kind of a windshield wiper motor in there. These wipers sweep the opposite way. The only other ones I'm aware of that do that are Caravan, so I might have to find the 2000 Caravan wiper motor. I think I know where there might be one. Wiper transmission. Now as far as overall frame width, I'm going to be fine. It's going to tuck inside the Imperial. Imperial actually had a little bit of a wider frame, believe it or not, in most spots. Not so much up front, but I've done the measuring and you can see how the mounts on either side of the bottom of the cowl, they're not actually up tight against the frame. They're about an inch and a half out from the frame, so that's going to help us there. I'm hoping to drop the frame down lower on the Ram than it is on the Imperial. As you can see, it's best I can get in here, the frame on the Imperial, inch and a half above the top of the tire in the Imperial. You know, on the Ram, it's probably just a little bit more, but not maybe 2 inches. But I'm going to try and drop the Imperial even lower on the frame. I do have a lift kit in there. If you can see it. There is it. I saw it when I was under it. Anyway, you can't see it, but there's about a 2 or 3 inch lift kit in there. I'd like to take that out, to be honest. I'd like to take the lift kit out altogether, flip the rear end, and then get lowering keys to the front, drop the whole thing about 3 or 4 inches. But that's not on the budget. However, the bottom's cut out of the Imperial anyway, so we can just lower it down. And hopefully we're not going to be too high, although I think I put a measuring tape from top to bottom, from the floor to the roof on both these rigs, and they're pretty well the same. So, I mean, the Imperial I might lose a little bit of headroom when it's all said and done, but I think we're going to be all right. There's also the issue of how far back the rear leaf spring hangers are on the frame. Both the rigs are pretty close. They don't come to the very end of the frame on the truck. They do on the Imperial. They're almost to the very tip of it. But again, we will work with that. The Imperial back, the spring hangers is, well, actually, they're pretty close. They're only about 3 inches from the back of the frame. But the bumper has extensions. Rear bumper will stick out almost a foot. It'll be just back here where my hand is. So, I mean, if that don't line up, that's something we can deal with. And as you can see, from the back of the Imperial to the front, the frame narrows quite a bit. It's kind of exaggerated because I'm at the back of the car now. From the door post back, it's pretty well straight and square. The width stays the same. The front, as you can see, it narrows. Truck, not so much. But I mean, this is common of all early cars. Most anyway. You can kind of get a good look at it there. Actually looks pretty straight there. Angles are hard to get down here. That's my front bumper there. You can see the frame extensions and the bumper brackets, how far in they go to the frame. The rear bumper, you can just barely see it. It's underneath it. It's the same scenario. So I'm going to have about another foot to hide things if I need to. It's kind of cool because I'd kind of like to keep the hitch for the truck because, you know, it'll be able to do things other than just drive me around. I'll be able to tow stuff home. Not that I should tow stuff home, but I might. You never know. We got to get that box off in the next 3 or 4 days too and get that done. Have a look at that wiring. Make sure my rear frame looks as good as the front one. I've been under it. It doesn't look too bad. I think we're going to be okay. That's a major obstacle that has to happen. Got to put a set of gas tank straps on the truck. They've been held up with a tank's been held up in the back here with ratchet straps, which seems to be doing fine, you know, but we can't keep that there. And I want to try and utilize as many of the truck cab mounts as I can. There's a cab mount here behind that plug. And that cab mount is not quite a foot from the outside of the rocker. So we might get away with just using those. If not, we'll figure it out. I do want to try and use as much of the Firewall as I said, or as I can, as I said earlier. If not, fine. The car could have a double Firewall yet. Might be what makes things work. So yeah, Firewall Imperial's back farther, but I think we'll be all right. So that's it. That's just a little one. Again, I don't have any progress in the past week. I apologize, but we're getting there. I know, my favorite saying, we're getting there. We are. I hope to get down here the next couple of nights, and I'm going to let the heater lines go so I can pull the dash out, so I can see just how much of this I can cut. I forgot that when you're pulling dashes out of these old Dodges, you got to let the heater cores go and everything, or she won't move. So we'll have to drop the column, get the rest interior pieces out, get the dash out. I'm going to take the carpet out. I'd like to save as much of that as I can, even though it's been down here in the rain. We haven't had rain all summer until I tore this freaking truck apart. Oh well. I had known that, I tore it apart in the spring. I would have had better tomatoes. Now, yeah, windshield's got to come out. I want to cut my Firewall on this side of my, just outside of my, what do you call that thing? Brake booster. And I'm going to move this harness piece in here. There's a plug down in here. And there's a plug on the other side I want to move. I'm going to leave some of this, enough that I can drill some holes and sand the bare metal to put my grounds on so I'll know if she still starts. Because a wise man said to me, a very wise friend of mine said to me, you should really make sure that runs before you cut anything up. And he was very, very right. But it didn't. And I see now my airbox is open. I'm hoping there won't be water in there. That's stupid. But we might be alright. What do you do? I'll put that on right now. Anyway. There. Might be too late, but maybe not. Okay. Again, that's it. Thank you very much. I apologize the progress hasn't changed, but it will. And yeah, thanks for watching.